Like, okay, he has a motive here. So far it mostly looks whether it's this guy or this guy. This guy has the gun thing going for him. And he's a retired cop. And one of the victims has killed someone but has never been arrested. And has also been a molester and never has been arrested. So it could give him a reason to go for it. However, it doesn't make sense why he stole the wallet. Ah, but victim 2 is a fierce politician, so his wallet had a lot of money. And a cop would know to kill somebody in a CCTV blind spot. And victim 3 has also escaped justice. Wait. Police report victim 3. Killer fought victim 3, and then it says no sign of violence. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know. Okay, end the night. Let's see what new clues we can get. You slept badly. Sometimes you're so tired you can't seem to get any rest. You'd like to understand how that's even possible. You get up quickly. And a few minutes later you're outside of your studio. Okay. Give you a ride. She's going far. Oh, it's that couple again. You recognize the two passengers getting into your cab. A few days earlier, you drove them home. They were on their way back from a date with a potential donor. You start the cab. After a moment of uncertainty, they recognize you too. Well, that's a coincidence. We were just talking about you the other day. You were talking about him, not me. She leans towards you. Lucy was so embarrassed about that conversation we were having. You must have heard everything. Nothing to be embarrassed about. The younger passenger is clearly relieved. Thanks. Sometimes you just forget you are there. It really wasn't very polite of me. Don't worry about it. He gives you a smile. You've just had another date. Speaking of which, Emily... What? He heard the beginning of the story. He wants to find out what happened. Stop it. You're going to make him feel uncomfortable. Not at all. I'd like to hear about it. The older passenger begins talking quickly, eyes shining, voice a little slurred. Spicy says, how can one forget someone is there? Like how? Well, when you get into a conversation with your partner on a cab drive, you can really kinda get carried away. Besides, they were drunk. No, they forgot that their cab driver was there. The couple was talking between themselves and they forgot that there's this guy listening. Not listening, but who can hear them. They were pretty drunk though. She talks quickly, her eyes are shining. She's been drinking. Again. The guy tonight was gorgeous. Extremely good looking, but extremely stupid too. Although, not like the last guy. True, it's funny how people can be both dumb and different at the same time. It's almost fascinating, really. Almost is right. They both burst out laughing. I didn't like the way he was coming on to us in the first place. It's his reproductive cells we are interested in, not his pretty face. It was as if he wanted to get into bed with both of us. As if? No, that's definitely what he was trying to do. He was dying for a little threesome. They exchanged a brief look, can hardly contain their laughter. Still, it's incredible. We had briefed him a little before. He knew that. He knew why we were meeting him. It was all very clear. No innuendos. It was so awkward when he talked about insemination by hand. We called it natural insemination, I think. The younger of the two sighs. It's a pity, really. The first guy was too proud to share his genes, and the second was too busy thinking about his dick. He sure was handsome. Can you imagine if our child gets looks like that? Yeah, but that's not what really counts. Sure, but it does help. Yes, it does. Definitely. A pause. Our kid will be kidnapped in 2 seconds flat. They laugh heartily. Another pause. You almost reached your destination. The older of the two women leans towards you. Do you have any children? Leave him alone. Please, I'm just asking him a question. Do you have any children? No. He seems disappointed, then takes it up again. Would you choose a partner according to the babies? Would you choose a partner according to the babies you may have together? If you're straight, that is. Her wife rolls her eyes. You can be so embarrassing. No. Oh darn. So much for my theory. Her wife leans towards you. Thank you for not engaging. Again, my apologies. Smile. The younger passenger gives you a tense smile. So, what's the verdict on, Phil? What was his name, right? Right, Phil. What do you say? Her partner takes a moment to consider. I like him better than Damien, so long as he doesn't get too bold. I prefer Damien, a perfect idiot, but at least he has a brain. The younger woman screws up her eyes. That's not how I would have put it. You have to admit that Phil does have perfect features. Our daughter will be gorgeous. Or son. Yeah, right. Or son. You park in front of the women's building. The younger of the two pays the fare. The older woman gives you a wink in the rearview mirror. Come on, just between you and me. What do you think? Are genes all that... and all that's such a big deal? Her partner opens her eyes wide. Please, just stop. Come on, you can tell me there's nothing to worry about. I won't say anything to that woman. That woman has a name. And she'd like you to lay off the poor taxi driver who didn't ask for any of this. She's not bothering me. Her wife drags her out of the cab. Fine, you win. You are a certified pain in the ass. The younger woman gives her partner a final yank and slams the door behind her. She makes a gesture with her hand, both goodbye and apology. You start the car. Man, I like driving them. They're funny. And they pay well. Look at the tip. Nice. Okay. The passenger getting into the cab smells like alcohol. There is a feeling of sadness about her. Gives you her address and you start the car. They settle into an unsurprising conversation, climate change, politics, the price of real estate in Paris. But then someone mentions the serial killer. You lean in to listen. A rumor. Could be of help. The passenger pulls out her phone, but the screen remains off. You glance back at her in the rearview mirror every now and then. She's clearly upset, uneasy, sad. All of a sudden she speaks to you. She has a deep, soft-spoken voice. Excuse me, Do you think texting to say you had a nice evening, like just 10 minutes after you saw someone, it might seem a bit desperate, no? You smile. Clearly you are not an expert on the subject. No. Really? She gives you a smile. Well, I guess. Anyhow, she immerses herself in her telephone and quickly types a message that she immediately sends. There. I'll just have to wait and see. She sighs. I really liked meeting that girl. Super nice. I've been in Paris for 8 years now. 8 years. And it's hard. Incredibly hard. Her voice falters. And there are so many people in Paris too. You should see them. I do a lot of work in law firms. They're bursting with attractive women. There's so much shame. And denial. Most are uncomfortable. Lost. I get it when you're 20, but when you're 30... Her eyes widen in dismay. Anyhow, who am I to say? I wasn't any better when I was 20, right? I'm surprised, that's all. And fed up. The passenger suddenly realizes she's oversharing. Sorry, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Don't worry about it. Her eyes light up. Thanks for listening. When I got to Paris, I thought I was going to meet a nice group of women at last, to go out and have fun. And all I found was more of the same. Girls who are inhibited, hung up, afraid, who don't want to commit. That girl tonight, she just wanted to go out for a drink because she was bored. That's why we met up so late. She didn't have anything to do at home, so... She didn't put it that way, of course, but I knew. Dates today are so... My friends who are older talk about the bars they went to back in the day, the underground scene, glances exchanged in the metro. Me, I'm happy just getting an emoji. Pretty pathetic. Here it is, her text. Glad to have met you. Her voice trails off. But it's best if we leave it at that. She pauses. Signed, woman raising hand emoji. She turns her face away, eyes glued to the passing scenery. Yep. Sorry. She answers with an almost imperceptible nod of the head, her eyes fixed intently on the road. Thanks. Luckily, there are the dating apps. We talk, try to get to know each other. Sometimes we can't help it and we sleep together out of sheer necessity. But our real needs are never actually fulfilled. She falters. An uncomfortable silence ensues. Mine aren't, anyhow. She smiles. You near the address your passenger had given you. Her face clouds over. She lets out a sigh. You park in front of her building. She pays the fare, thanks you warmly, but is unable to open the car door, as if her strength had deserted her. Sorry, I just need a second, and another second. Take your time. She nods, breathing out, straightening herself almost imperceptibly. Okay then. Emoji woman raising hand says goodbye. She gives you a smile and gets out of the cab. Your eyes follow her as she walks over to the building. A moment later, she's gone. Wow, that was sad. Poor her. Oh, poor thing. Okay. Oh, it's that homeless guy. The door opens, it's Hervé, a homeless man like hundreds of others in Paris. That's one of the suspects. You've known each other for years and every now and then he asks a favor of you. to drive him someplace. As usual, he greets you quietly, though he always seems a little on edge. "Hey buddy, what's up, pup?" He has a strange verbal tic that you've never really understood. You start the cab. You look in the rearview mirror and you realize that the homeless man is clutching his left side. "Well, alright already, Freddy." "Is everything alright?" He gives you a vague answer. "Yeah, sure, fine." A pause. He can't help making a face. Insist. "You're really not looking that great." Don't worry. I got in a little fight last night with this guy. But that's all taken care of now. All taken care of." He smiles, revealing a row of bad teeth. "What kind of fight?" With a wave of his hand, he changes the subject. Who gives a shit about what kind of fight it was? All you need to know is that he took something that belonged to me, and he paid the price. Closes his eyes a moment. So yeah, he wasn't all that bad. But if you let someone steal your stuff, you're done for sure. You have to show him you're tough. You are a big shot. He pulls a sour smile. Sometime later, your passenger clears his throat. You wouldn't happen to have a little something to drink, would you? You know, like they do in those new-fangled cabs these days? Chauffeur-driven cars. Yeah, that's right. I don't have anything, sorry. He nods. I don't mean water, you know. You smile. I realize that. He sighs. Usually, you're not such a pain. Say nothing. He loses himself in thought. As you drive along, you see him struggling to keep his eyes open. They are more often shut than open now. Say nothing. Your passenger gives you a sleepy smile. Hey. Serious, you don't mind if I get a little shut-eye on the way, do you? You nod. Enjoy. He gives you a smile, but it's still a painful grimace. Next thing you know, he's sound asleep. You continue to drive in silence, soothed by the warm air of the car heater. You pull up in front of a nondescript gray building. Your passenger immediately wakes up and looks around. Shit, this is great, I'm first! Where are we? An organization that hands out clothes for winter heard they were going to open a new... Pause, he's searching for the right word. A new shop, you could say. And I'm the first one, huh? When does it open? 2 days from now. Your eyes widen, your passenger gives a little laugh. Don't worry, I have plenty to keep me busy. He pats his pants pocket. I found some books, one on yoga, and then a book by that old handsome dude, you know, the guy who talks on the radio? It will help pass the time. He gives you a tap on the shoulder. He reaches for the door and stops short, overcome with a spasm of pain. Fuck. Are you okay? Yeah, don't worry. I'm taking you to the hospital. No, I'm good. He opens the door and climbs gingerly out. You should turn up the heat in your car, yeah. We freeze our asses off. Next thing you know, he's disappeared down a dark side street. You sigh and start the cab. I drove all the way across town and he gave me nothing. I didn't agree to a favor. We need money. Okay. What do we have? Okay, let's take her. She says 0 money, eh? Nice. Yeah, that's what happens when you give homeless people a ride. Your next passenger has been crying. She stares at the floor and gives you an address in the nearby suburbs. You just started driving when her telephone rings. The ringtone is familiar. Yes? There's a pause. Her tone is sharp and curt. Yes, I'm on my way home right now. She pauses, holds her breath. Yes. Another pause. She sounds annoyed. No, I took a taxi. On the other end, a voice gets louder. Who's paying? Well, I am. I don't want to take the bus home tonight. Come on, lay off. A new round of criticism begins. Look, can you just lay off? Yeah, we'll talk about it when I get back. She holds up the phone away from her ear, ready to hang up, then pulls it back. Yes, I'm here. She finally glances at you. There's no need to scream, I can hear you. I told you we'll talk about it when I get home. We're about to enter a tunnel, miss. She smiles. No, that was the driver saying we were going to be cut off. No, he seems normal. Mom, I said it's break. She hangs up. Thank you. You hear a ring, the same tune as before. The young woman hesitates, turns the phone over in her hand, and decides not to answer. Sorry. I know that tune. Her face lights up. It's Lakme by Leo Delibes. We gave a performance with this music. After hearing it so much, I just fell totally in love with it. It's such an incredibly soft piece. In the opera, it comes from the priestess Lakme, and one of her companions go to gather jasmine for the temple, and you sense the love between the characters. And it's mutual. Two women sing, and their words are very similar, but not identical. You sing? No, I'm a dancer, classical, jazz, and other various combinations. I've danced since I was a little girl, but I've been dancing even more these last few years. I love it. A friend and I did put our own choreography to a few scenes from the Lakme opera once. We did a show. It was really exciting. The smile that appears on her face seems to have erased the tears. And thanks for earlier, by the way. I missed the last metro and... To be honest, I really didn't want to go home. My mother is waiting to have a long, very long discussion about my future, my career, and all the sacrifices she's made for me. She's a cleaning woman in one of the fancy office buildings at La Défense, and I failed my bar exam, so she thinks... She stops herself. She was going to make a joke, but something keeps her from doing so. Her smile vanishes. She thinks I'll end up as a cleaning woman at La Défense. Your passenger sighs. She thinks I dance too much. She thinks it's Lakme's fault. But mostly she thinks it's my fault. She heaves a huge sigh and stares at nothing outside. I studied. I worked hard. But I didn't pass. I just don't believe in all that anymore. Now be warned, what I'm about to say will sound cliché, but I want to be a dancer, not a lawyer. My mother doesn't understand. You must work to earn money in order to succeed. She takes a breath. Sorry, I didn't mean to unload on you. I must seem like a pretentious little princess. Not at all. Thanks. Thanks for lying. She smiles. The address she gave you is not much further. I mean, I know I owe my mother a lot. I have to stop being so self-centered, blah blah blah, and I have to pass this fucking exam. Licks her tongue as if to force herself to stop talking. Instead she keeps going. Mind you, she came to my Lakme performance. She pauses, tries to find her words. She saw me dance when we left. It's kinda dumb, but she didn't say a single word. And I think I've never felt prouder. Her silence spoke 1,000 words. We pull up to her house. She takes her time getting out of the car. I don't know why I said all that, but it felt really good. Thank you. She disappears. Her tears have definitely vanished. Yay. Spicy says this is more of therapy session than it is taxi service. Yeah, I like the typo though. This is more of therapy session than it is taco service. That's a good typo. Imagine a game where you're a taco service. That's great. Hey, I need to talk to you? What? Okay. The passenger who gets into the cab greets you in uncertain tones. Good evening. You try to answer as warmly as possible. Good evening. Good evening. I want to... She stops short, trembling as if in a panic. Is everything alright? No, it's not. She begins pouring her heart out. A flood of sorrow fills the cab. I've lost my cat. She shakes her head as if chasing a bad dream. I know, it's pretty silly, it's pathetic, but I lost my cat. She holds up a poster of the missing animal. His name is Crowkey. It's the cat from the other night, you're sure of it. Listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but someone saw my cat get into a cab. So I called your company and asked which taxis were in the neighborhood the night he disappeared. You were the only one. I need your help. Her tone is increasingly hesitant, insecure. Please tell me, you know where he is? Crowkey? Where is my cat? Crowkey told us where he was going. It's a question of life and death. I saw him. She sits up straight with a jerk. That's wonderful. Where is he? Take me there. He took the train. The train? She looks down at the poster in her hand. That's why he stole my money. I knew he was up to something. He's so smart for a little ball of fluff. Did you talk to him? You remain quiet. I'm sure you talked to him. Frauke's not just any old cat, you know. He saved my life. I adopted him when he was still a tiny kitten. I took care of him, spoiled him, fed him for weeks. I took time off work to take care of the little thing. I knew right away he wasn't like other cats. He was different. I stood up for him too. When my friends said he was taking up too much room in my life, I dropped them. When they told me he couldn't come with me to work anymore, I changed companies. The only reason I get out of bed in the morning. Please, I'm begging you. When my mother died, I decided to get a cat. I thought it would take my mind off things, get me interested in something else, and then... She stares at you. I'm going to ask you one last time. Do you know where my cat is? I actually don't remember whether the cat wanted us. Whether the cat liked his owner or not. I don't remember. I don't think he had a problem. I think he just wanted to go to the beach or something. Tell the truth. Your cat got into my cab. Her eyes flashed with hope. I drove him to Saint Lazare. The Oval? Maybe. He's in the Oval, I'm sure of it. He loves it there. Could you stop the car, please? You pull over to the sidewalk. Thank you. She lowers her gaze. I know I was a little too much for him. I might have been a little suffocating, but he was everything to me. And nobody seems to understand. Nobody. That's not healthy. She looks you straight in the eye. What do you mean? To love someone so much you lock them up, you suffocate them. It's not healthy. For a cat, for a man, for a woman. She says nothing. You can hear her struggling to catch her breath. Thank you. I think I needed to hear that. I'm going crazy. Her voice drops to a whisper. Crazy. She opens the car door and hands you a banknote at the same time. I need to be alone. She gets out of the cab and walks away without shutting the door. The next minute she's gone, swallowed up by the night. You get out and close the door. You take a deep breath, your lungs freeze. You wait another minute, then get back inside and start the engine. Okay. There's actually one hint place left. Let's go to it. Out of nowhere, you hear a voice whispering in your ear. This is where I died. You brake hard. This is no noise in the cab, no noise outside. A silhouette appears on the back seat of the cab. Its features appear one by one as if drawn with a paintbrush. So much suffering. You squint. A little boy. Would you be so kind as to drive me? Where? Very well, let us drive then. The boy's silhouette flutters for a moment, then disappears entirely. You hold your breath. On the back seat behind you, the boy slowly reappears. You start driving. Elysee Palace. Say nothing. The silence makes you feel uncomfortable. In the rearview mirror, the boy watches the streets go by. Occasionally, he mumbles a few words. What did you say? The president. You lean back to hear better. Ed. Alone. President is very lonely. He loves having people around and often invites them over. Sometimes we have tea. The smell fills the car. Our cups remain empty, of course. The initially pleasing odor quickly becomes overwhelming. Some nights, the other Elysee ghosts join in. A charming man who is missing half of his head. Gunpowder. Grip the steering wheel. How does a kid like you get invited? You know, the president is famous in Paris. Everyone heard about his death. A crooked little grin. People come from far away to meet him. Some nights there's a long line of impatient guests waiting in front of the palace. The president likes to joke about his unfortunate demise. Enough time has passed. It's delightful. Actually, he doesn't like to tell the story when I'm around. He says I'm too young. He forgets that I'm over 200 years old. Or perhaps he thinks that I don't know the meaning of the word fellatio. His face flutters. When you think about it, it is a funny word. He rolls the syllables over his tongue. Fellatio. More importantly, what a funny way to die. We're almost there. Pull over here. I don't want to be seen. Our world is just as pretentious as yours. By the time you pull over, the back seat is empty. Your chin itches. You sigh. How many times are we gonna see random things? This is weird. Okay, we have one more available hint place. You leave your taxi behind and walk towards the last victim's building. Charles Bougrain Ferrer was killed in his parking garage. The large metal garage door is firmly closed. Wait for a car. On your left, there's a shady corner where you can discreetly keep an eye on the door without being seen. You grin and bear it. From time to time, you jump in place to warm yourself up. Your hiding place is probably the same one the killer used a few weeks ago. With each passing minute, you sense his presence until the garage door starts to shake, the metal slats start to rise, a car suddenly bursts out of the garage. You take the opportunity to slip inside. Your eyes take a few seconds to adjust to the darkness. You head down to the ramp into the garage. There are about 30 spots and almost all of them are full. The cars are very nice, sedans, convertibles, a bright red sports car. You're in a wealthy neighborhood. According to the police report, Charles Bougrain Ferrer was murdered right here in this empty parking spot. He used to be a notorious leader of the right-wing extremist party. When he was murdered at age 84, long after retiring from politics, it was a surprise for everyone. You light up the crime scene with a flashlight on your phone. There's still a brown stain on the wall in front of you. The message written in chalk has been washed off. A voice rings out in the garage. Hey, what are you doing? This is private property. You turn around and see a rather elderly man, probably the concierge. He shines his flashlight in your direction. I'm a taxi driver. A taxi driver? You've got no fucking business in here. I'm investigating Mr. Bougrain Ferrer's death. You have trouble making out his face, but you can see his eyes bug out. Go! Get out of here before I call the cops! You walk back up the ramp towards the exit. The concierge opens the garage door. As you step outside, you hear the concierge say, "Go! Get the fuck out, now!" You make your way back to your cab. Glance back at the building. The furious concierge is gone. You settle in behind the wheel, short of breath. I guess I screwed that one up. Oh well. Okay. Well, let's head home. An envelope. Someone slid it under the door, Posey? You open it straight away. It's a police file. You lay it on the table. It must be from your passenger, the whistleblower. You smiled. He kept his word. You take a few minutes to update your board with your new clues. The bus goes by, blah blah blah. Okay, what are my new clues? Victim 4, fantastic politician. God. Where's that envelope then? There's nothing here. But I really have no idea. Okay, let's go. The phone rings. You impulsively take a step back. It's the moment of truth. Pick up. Hello? Hi. Ice cold. So? She heaves alongside. There's no background noise. She must not be at the station. Where are you? For a second you think she's going to tell you, but then... Somewhere. None of your business. A light clinking noise. The sound of a teacup on a coaster, maybe. I'm listening. What have you got for me? She clears her throat. Her voice sounds louder, more confident. You glance at the wall. The suspects are all lined up. All the evidence. A whole mess of your ideas. Your stomach is in a knot. I don't have to remind you. You cannot get this wrong. I have a meeting in 2 hours with the district attorney and the chief of police. Even the Minister of the Interior will be in a corner of the room somewhere. Obviously, I'm thrilled. Oh, but certainly I don't want to put too much pressure on you. You can almost hear the smirk she must be wearing. You lay the receiver down on the table. Now you have to decide. Okay, well, the third victim escaped Argentina. You would think that it would be her first victim if she was out there for vengeance. So, maybe not that. Killer fought victim 1. There is child molesting involved. And his first case was a child molester. The homeless guy, I don't think the homeless guy did it. No. Whether this guy... Divorced from a judge. And he is a defender of several molested kids in poor neighborhoods. Yeah, but he's a lawyer and doesn't seem like he has the background to have a gun. Oh, he divorced the judge, so maybe it's personal that the judges never made the verdict to arrest these people. Huh. First message was justice, and then was you deserve this, and then time is up. I think it's him. Let's go with the old man. Let's go. You pick the phone back up and explain your choice to Lieutenant Bousset. Why, how, the evidence, your sources. She listens without saying a word. You stop talking and catch your breath. Okay. I'll buy it. Seems like a solid choice. I can fish around a bit to wet your information. She pauses. You can almost hear her nodding. I'll call you tonight. Try to get some sleep. She pauses. No way she's going to hang up on such a positive note. No, she's probably going to. It might be your last night of freedom. She snickers and hangs up. You put the phone down. You might as well be standing in the ice-cold emptiness of outer space. You decide to go to bed, to sleep. Best way to kill time. But, yeah, that's... You sigh when you think that in just a few hours it'll all be over. You'll have answers. Bousset will have her arrest. Paris will be peaceful again. What about you? What'll you do? You shake your head and your mind wanders for a second. And suddenly, you're asleep. You open one eye. You had a hard night, restless. You get the impression you aged 5 years in a matter of hours. You get up quickly, and a few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. Oh, we're still driving? You've barely gotten downstairs when you catch sight of Bousset. She's leaning up against the door of your cab, eyes wide open, forehead creased. Get in. You obey. It's too early to react. She settles into the back seat, flashes a smile. Good news, you're right. Or at least the DA thinks your evidence is sufficient. No emotion in her voice. She's giving you the facts, nothing more. We're going to bring Fragonard in tonight. She nods. Her expression clouds over. I have trouble. She freezes. Fragonard is a mentor, mine, and half the squad's. You can't understand. He's an institution. She stops, clears her throat. I need your help, one last time. Later on tonight, we're going to get Fragonard to leave home and find a way to get him into your taxi. She pulls some kind of pen out of her pocket that she puts in the little in the little cubby just above the car stereo. This is a bug. What am I supposed to do? No more than usual. A smile passes quickly across her face. I've seen you and heard you enough to know that you have a trick, a gift for getting people to talk. I need someone I can trust to get close to Fragonard without making him suspicious. He's a cop. He knows how we work. No one's ever sent a taxi driver to make an arrest. He won't put up a fight. I hope he'll open up to you, that he'll confess before things fall apart. Not too far from the hospital where he goes for his treatments, there's an alleyway under construction. There won't be any civilians, just us and him. She sighs. Two teens walk by the cab and the intense smell of weed fills the cab, whose seat doesn't budge. I know you can do it. If you stick to the plan, nothing can go wrong. What if there's a problem? If you stick to the plan, there won't be any problems. She lays her hand on the door handle. You pick the suspect up, drive to the meeting point, and you're free. Easy as pie. She gets out of the cab, slams the door, and walks quickly away. Shit, shit, shit! You hit the dashboard. Intense pain spreads through your hand. You grab the keys in the ignition and turn. The motor comes on. Your night is about to begin. Your last night. Okay, we're on to our last night. Ooh, it's coming to an end slowly. Oh, it's this crazy lady. Let's go for the crazy lady that keeps yelling. Yeah, let's go. You immediately recognize the passenger who just sat in the back of your cab. Pricey perfume. Fur around her neck. And a strange form of emotional trauma that causes her to say terrible things. Oh, it's you again. You know, dickhead. My daughter and I were talking about you the other day. You listen to me. I don't often cross paths with people who listen to me and don't make fun. I really appreciated it. She flashes a sweet, charming smile. Cunt cheese. Oh god, the things she comes up with. She gently strokes her shoulders. Drive towards the 16th arrondissement, please. She purses her lips and manages to stifle the insult ready to escape. You start the car, praying that this time around your passenger won't say anything during the ride. Your passenger heaves a sigh. Hope it doesn't bother you too much. A second you don't know what she's talking about, but then... Bench! Some days are harder than others. It must surprise people. Oh, it fuck does. More the teasing. You see? A cauliflower-shaped anus. She looks away for a second, disgusted by her own coarseness. Our neighbor's son. She shakes her head. It's a long story. They're expats. Chinese. She works for Chanel, I think, and he for a big import-export company. Can't remember its name. Transatlantic sodomite? Something like that, anyway. She sighs. She's getting annoyed with herself. Their only son used to come get help with his French from my husband and me. Now that we're separated, Rugrat, he still comes around. But he films me. Oh, he's discreet about it, of course. He slips his phone into the front pocket of his blazer and films me. I just think it's funny. An old lady who swears and calls everyone. She stops, purses her lips. When she opens her mouth again, she is glassy-eyed. Maybe he even shares them with all of China. Shitty-ass Rugrat! Her mind wanders for a second. We don't really have any idea what goes on over there. My daughter said I might have become a dick internet star there. You raise your eyes to look at your passenger. This last syllable hangs in the air, oddly accentuated. I dope they'd broadcast that. Her voice becomes screechy. You think? I don't know anything about any of that. It's beyond me. She raises her eyes abruptly to look at you. And plus... That be... And plus, I'm not a good influence on this boy. He's learning swear words. There's no way to learn a language. Especially not French. Language of love, the language of poetry, of ballads. Smile is a very sad smile at you. Dick cheese. Her smile vanishes. That's why I no longer see my grandchildren. My son thinks it's better if we wait until it passes. I think he's right. She stares right into your eyes. You can tell she doesn't believe what she just said. They don't support you? Yes, of course. John Roland is a dear. Belches. But I don't want to bother him with this. He has his problems and I have mine. She lets out a little laugh, clearly designed to end the discussion. You're not far from your destination. In the back, your passenger is dousing herself with perfume. The smell is dizzying, overpowering, oppressive. Does this bother you? It's quite strong. My apologies. She blushes briefly. What's up with people spraying perfume in closed spaces? I'll never understand that part. On public transport, for example, who does that? I've been wearing this hairy-ass perfume for 25 years. It's such a part of me that I don't even notice it anymore. It was the first present my husband gave me. Might be time for a change? Change? My perfume? Underfucked. Why? He left you. Your remark hurt her. You can tell right away. She lowers her eyes. What of it? He doesn't own this perfume. It's mine. You pull up in front of her building. She hands you the fare, but doesn't move. Everything okay? Yes. Yes, it's just... I'm always anxious about going home so late. No one is there. Can't. No lights on. Every noise seems suspicious. Flabby vaginal queef. She pauses. Could you wait until I'm home before you leave? Her voice, suddenly very deep, has a tone that makes your hair stand on end. Sure. Thank you. Your passenger leaves the taxi and walks towards the lobby of her building. You watch her every move as she walks the dark meters before your taxi and the door. You chose not to mention that you do this for all your clients. Since the attack. Since you got hurt. Since you can't sleep like you used to anymore. She waves to you as the door closes. You have just enough time to get a glance of the white marble and shiny copper stairwell. The door slams. Oh, there he is. There's our guilty guy. Hopefully guilty guy. Oh, hi again, Iko Dimitrov. You're back. Your next passenger is your suspect, the retired policeman. Judging by his looks, you could have easily guessed. Hospital St. Louis, please. You nod your head and start the engine. Your passenger seems to have his mind elsewhere, not entirely awake. Stubble on his chin. You scan his skin, his movements, his attitude, his... It's cold as shit this morning. His voice makes you jump. You nod. You have more people or not as many when it's cold out like this. Folks tend to stay home when it's too cold. There might be some more of them, but they make shorter trips. Makes sense. Dead silence. Say nothing. You drive in silence for a second. The road goes by. You don't want to look in your side mirrors too often. You haven't seen a trace of the cops yet. Cosette told you not to worry, but... You know, it's funny. Just this morning, I was thinking about an old case. One of my first cases, actually. It was just after the Miss Ryan case. You know who Miss Ryan is, don't you? Or am I really that old? You sense it's the right time to get him to talk. That rings a bell. Jacques Mesrine, breaking and entering, kidnapping, armed robbery, killed 2 cops in Canada, tortured a journalist, a far-right one, but still. Then in 1979, after being on the run for a year and a half, the cops catch him and kill him at the port of the Clignancourt. He raises a hand. Now, the cops say it was self-defense, but I know for a fact they shot him down like a dog. He looks straight at you. You can see the hint of an underground fire roaring deep in his eyes. Now, I most certainly do not want to die like a dog, understood? He catches his breath and is clearly shaken. He ever so slowly reaches into his pocket and pulls out his weapon. Where did Busset ask you to take me? Excuse me? Don't take me for a fool. Tell the truth. A warehouse, some old garage, they're waiting for us there. An ambush. I'm no Mesrine, you know. I'm not going to pull a grenade out from under the back seat here. He cuts off with a groan. When he starts speaking again, his voice is chilling. Busset. You can see his finger on the trigger. It's shaking ever so slightly. How much does she know? I don't know. The stench of gunpowder fills the cab. Your vision is blurred for a while. You can't feel your legs anymore, and a shock of heat is streaming down your spine. The taxi slows and ends up running into a car parked along the side of the road. The impact sets its alarm off. Its lights shower the street with red and yellow. I'm sorry. Sorry it turned out like this. You deserve better, you know. You're so focused on helping others that you forget to take care of yourself. I want to speak, but no sound comes out. I read your file, you know, what you did for your sister-in-law. Taking 7 years in jail for her. He nods his head. You deserve better. Your neck muscles give out and your head collapses. Bits of the outside world make it in, maybe not in the right order. The door closing. The back seat empty. A shape coming over to the cab, screaming, shouting. And just like that, darkness. Ah! We just got killed? Oh. We just got killed, y'all. This is bad? Yes, it is bad. Oh dear. Wow, I didn't expect. Well, but at least now they have proof that he's a killer. Because now they have audio of me dying with him there. Great. All for the public good, right? All for the public good. Oh. Well, now that we have died, it's time to end the stream. Anyway, thanks for being here today. Thank you very much. It was an interesting game. Lots of story, lots and lots of different stories and tales. Oh, it was interesting. Anyway, thanks for coming out and hanging out in the stream. And I hope to see you tomorrow, where hopefully I get to play Control, that releases tomorrow. I'm really excited to see how that game works and what it's about, and it looked great from what I saw. I'm really excited to see it for myself. So I hope I get access to it tomorrow, if the store works properly and everything. And yeah. Echo Dimitro says, bye, have a nice day. This was a good stream. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You have a nice day too. I hope to see you later this week too. You have a nice day. And everybody else, you have a nice day too. Hope you had a great start of your week. And I hope to see you here for Control tomorrow. Same time. Toodles, spicy. And yeah, hopefully see you tomorrow. Or later. Whatever you prefer. Have a good day. Bye bye.